This is your first boxing lesson. Now, lots of different coaches and lots of different historical figures have different opinions on what you should be learning on your first boxing lesson. Jack Dempsey thinks you should learn to punch first. Roberto Duran thinks you should learn to duck first. I think you should learn appropriate stance and how to move around the ring. We're gonna take that stance, take all of the movement techniques we show you, moving forward, backward, left and right, taking angles, and we're gonna put them in context to how you're going to use them when you fight. And we're gonna run you through all of that today. Your boxing stance is the central hub that you have access to all of your boxing techniques from. It's also the position that you can absorb and generate force out of. Anytime that you gather your feet, anytime that you cross your feet, you're not in that position to be able to box adequately. When we're setting up our stance, we're gonna start with our feet shoulder width apart. I'm gonna take my right leg, I'm gonna slide it straight back on a line. From here, my weight's still 50-50 on my feet and it's on the balls of my toes. That's where I wanna be so I can easily move. You're not running around on your heels. If you're not sure if your weight's 50-50, I like to get low to the ground. When I'm down here, I have to put my weight evenly on both feet. I rise up and I hold that pressure. My hips are neutral so I can easily rotate through my trunk. And if I square my chest forward, put my hands up at my cheekbones, and then turn my chest to match my hips and my feet, this is going to be my boxing stance. Now, this is my outside boxing stance that protects me from the tools and the weapons that I'm gonna run into when I'm fighting somebody at the outside distance in boxing. We teach two other stances. We teach a middle distance stance and an inside stance that we're gonna get to in later videos. But for now, this is your home base. When you're in your outside boxing stance, you have a very narrow lane that you've gotta stick with your opponent in if you wanna keep yourself safe. This stance protects me from straight punches high and low, the 1 and the 2, and it protects me from that long slappy 3 if I'm in a closed exchange, all right, both high and low. If I sit two-bladed like this, that 3 can sneak through my center line and that 2 can come over my shoulder. If I sit too square like this, I'm vulnerable to all these straight punches down my center line here. The difference between this stance being functional and not is small. This is good, two-bladed, two square. This is where I need to sit if I want to have success and I want to keep myself safe. To accommodate this, we always move by driving off of our far side foot. Driving off of my rear foot moves me both forward and to my left. Driving off my lead foot, the ball of my foot, brings me backwards and to my right. This allows me never to gather or to cross my feet as I'm moving. Knowing how to move in the 4 directions in boxing is important, but usually you're gonna have somebody circling you, you're gonna have somebody trying to maneuver you, and you need to make little micro adjustments to keep them in that defensible lane that we discussed earlier. Some of the best advice I ever got was keeping this person between your feet. You can generate power, you can move your head side to side, and you have a nice, strong, stable base as long as somebody's attacking you from in between your feet. If I let somebody get outside of my feet, I gotta fight over my shoulder. That's a horrible place to be. So I do this just by taking little micro adjustments, taking little steps to keep this person with me. I don't always have to move in a straight line to my left. Sometimes it's better to hold a strong position, rotate, and keep my opponent in front of me. Being able to keep up with your opponent and keep them on the line is important. You don't want to let them outmaneuver you, but you want to be hunting to outmaneuver them. Watching 2 guys fight on the line is a lot of fun, but you don't want to be one of those guys. That's a high-risk place to fight. You want to use techniques to put this person in a position where you can hit them and they can't hit you. So some quick terminology. The side of my body that my feet are open to we'll refer to as our open side. The side of my body that my feet are closed to we'll refer to as my closed side. If I am an orthodox, a right-handed fighter, my right side is my open side, my left side is my closed side. We accomplish outmaneuvering our opponents by taking angles. My closed side angle is a small step in with my left foot. I drive off my rear foot and I pivot around so that my opponent is punching at nothing and I am punching at them. My open side angle is a big step through my opponent with my rear foot, and then a small step as I turn to meet them. Once again, they're punching at nothing, I'm punching at them. We can demo this with the help of one of my competitive athletes here. So my competitor Gretchen is gonna help me show you angles. If she's on the line with me, and we're fighting each other, if she takes her closed side angle, this is a small step with the left foot and a pivot around. So for the briefest of moments, I'm punching at nothing and she's punching at me. For her to establish this position successfully and actually be safe, she needs to clear my cross lane, so that's my right hand, and she needs to be behind my elbow. If she's in my cross lane, I can hit her with my right hand, and if she's in front of my elbow, I can hit her from the far side with my left hand. If she wants to put herself in a position where she can confidently hurt me and I can't hit her in that moment, she needs to clear my cross lane and my elbow and then immediately get on the attack, because these positions don't exist for long. So one more time, step and pivot. She's right where she's supposed to be. Back on the line, she's gonna take her open side angle. All right, her open side angle is a big step with that right foot as if she's stepping through me, and then a small step with that left foot so that she has cleared my lead foot. This is a pretty good position to be. I got a lot of reach on Gretchen. This happens a lot if you are the shorter person, where you're a hair short from stopping this person from stepping to meet you. But she's behind my elbow. She's outside of my jab lane. If this was gonna be perfect, slide over just a little, she's blocking my foot. That's optimal because it means when I try to turn to meet her, I have to navigate around her foot. She's blocking my movement and forcing me to disengage here. I firmly believe that the open side angle is the most advantageous position in a closed exchange in boxing. If she takes a nice open side angle, she's outside of my feet, outside of my line of fire, outside of my line of sight, she's over my shoulder, and most importantly, she can hit me high and low with both hands. If I put my guard up, she can hit me high with the right hand, low with the right hand. She can hit me high with the left hand, low with the left hand, which makes it really, really hard for me to decide how I want to defend myself. It's really important, especially if you're a smaller fighter, that you take this angle in and not out. So if you look at Gretchen's feet when she does this, if she takes this angle in right through me, go ahead, bang, bang. She has all of those options. Let's see some of them, Gretchen. Bang, bang, beautiful. If she takes this angle out, she limits herself. Now, she can't reach my center line. She can't reach behind my elbow. She can only reach over my shoulder. If she can only hit me with one shot, then me deciding how I'm gonna defend myself is easy. And she cheats herself out of offense that she otherwise could have built there. Boxing is a perfectly balanced system. Under a boxing rule set, with two boxers in a boxing ring, if everybody does everything right, nobody ever gets hit. Of course, everybody makes mistakes at the high level, but there are no dead ends. Everything loops back on itself. A good example of this balance in boxing is the closed side and the open side angle. The closed side angle is technically much easier to take, a step and a pivot. But tactically, it's risky because you're moving into their power side hand. The open side angle is more of a time sink, it's more energy, it's harder to take technically, let's see it. But it's a shorter distance you have to cover, and you're moving through their less powerful hand, their lead hand, so it balances itself out. All right, this brings us to our first defensive technique, which is just stepping out. Just disengaging and controlling your distance. It doesn't matter if somebody's trying to punch you or kick you or choke you or tackle you, or if they have a weapon. If you're not in range for them to use that tool, then you're defensively sound. Now, the downside of using distance as a technique for defense, unless you're the much taller person, you've created a situation where neither of you can hit each other, all right? That is half of classic Italian boxing, make them miss, make them pay. So if I'm working with Gretchen here, if I go to hit her with a jab, she's already learned her first defensive technique. She just steps out. She's not there to get hit. Now, if she's quick with her feet, like Manny Pacquiao, I throw a shot, she can step out and back in real fast. Out and back in. She's in a position where she can punish me for missing that shot. This applies to angles as well. If she wants to stay on the line with me and keep fighting, I take my closed side angle, she takes her closed side angle. And we both end up in a position where we're still fighting, we're still on the line here. If she takes her open side angle, I take my open side angle. If we keep up with each other, as long as you're attentive to that person's feet and position. If I take my closed side angle on Gretchen, she can just step out. And then she's denied me my opportunity to take advantage of that. This is half of the boxing. Make them miss, make them pay.